Hey guys, it's Michael at wordsmithmojo.com. How you doing? Hey, I want to talk to you today briefly about writer's block, or the myth of writer's block. Um, there's sort of several schools of thought on this, and some different ideas. To me, there's different phases. If it's before you start a project, to me it's really a lack of ideas, because you can't have writer's block if you haven't started writing. That's sort of a different thing. Today I'm going to talk to you more about when you're in the midst of writing your book or story and come across a point where you just can't seem to figure out the next step. And a lot of people call that writer's block. To me, it's just part of the process. I think all writers at some point have to step away and do something different in order to keep the story flowing, because they don't all flow from end to end as well as we would like. So I'm going to give you a few steps that I think can really help. Number one, we need to look really at what's going on with us and our spiritual or emotional condition. The nature of a writer is that it's a solitary job. We spend a lot of time at our desk or on our couch with our laptop on our knees, and we write. And I mean, that's what we do. We get immersed in our story. That's the only way to really get it out and get it to come to fruition. But that becomes somewhat monotonous day after day after day, and 2,000 words, 10,000 words, 40,000 words, 50,000 words sitting in the same spot. So there's a couple of things that I do whenever I hit a spot where I really don't know what to do next. I pretty much get up and change my location. For me, where I find peace and quiet in here is in nature. So I tend to go find a park right where I am right now is right along a point between two rivers, and the water rushing and the trees and the green and all of that gets me back sort of in this state of serenity where I'm able to write and I'm able to, think things through. At home, oftentimes we have distractions. One being the internet. Obviously, at many points during our writing, the internet is very handy for research and looking up things. Sometimes when we want to flow, we can be distracted by that stuff. And if you get far enough out into the country, as I am out here in central Idaho, I don't have that as a distraction out here like I do at home. So I can focus on my writing, and I can sit in the presence of beauty and greenery and, wildlife and all of that, and I can focus. One of the other things that I've done if I've hit a stumbling block at home is I'll skip ahead 2 or 3 chapters or to the next chunk that I know really what's going to happen, and I'll write that part. Because then you can go back to the part you're stuck on and figure out how to get from point A to point B. A lot of times that's where it's not so much writer's block, but it becomes a challenge to find the best way to get your story, your character arc and your story arc to get from here to here. And, so sometimes writing something different. I mean, I'll go write a blog post and then come back to it. I'll go play my guitar for half an hour and I'll come back to it. Sometimes, I know authors who will put their, when they hit a bad chunk where they just can't get anything going, they'll put their manuscript in a drawer for 2 weeks and come back to it in 2 weeks fresh. I like to finish my projects quicker than that, so I don't waste time that way. For them, it works. For me, it's really about either changing what I'm trying to write or changing my surroundings that I'm writing in. My current work in progress is Burn Scar, which should be coming out the end of August 2019. And, there was a point when I was taking people through the fire that I wasn't feeling it nearly as much as I was feeling it at the beginning. And so I took a trip back to Paradise, California, which was my hometown. You know, the whole town burnt down in wildfires last November. And I sat at a table in the middle of town surrounded by the ash and wreckage of that fire. And it sort of brought me back into focus and helped me be able to get back into the feeling and the character, you know, and doing all that. So whatever it takes to get it done. We don't always have the means to go to the place, or frankly, I've almost never had the means to go to the place that I'm writing about. But either way, take yourself out of your desk and out of your living room, you know, wherever you are, wherever your normal writing space is, and try to look at things differently, because out here I have a different perspective than I do when I'm sitting at my desk at home. So just some quick tips on how to get past writer's block. Again, go write something else and come back to this, but to always come back, and soon, like later today. I find that if I get started on another big project, I can get sidetracked on that project and never get back to finish this project. But if I want to write a magazine article or a blog post or whatever, you know, we're writers, we write a lot of stuff. Go write something else, you know, short, and then come back to it, and you might have a different perspective. So hope that helps. Every couple of days we're going to put a few new tips out here for writers, and thanks for following. Click the subscribe button down at the bottom there if you would. That'll help you stay up to date on the latest posts. Also, go visit me at wordsmithmojo.com. That's wordsmithmojo.com. And sign up for our newsletter, because that's how you're going to get all the latest from my book release, the upcoming book release, but also you'll get notified, you know, periodically. I hate spam. I will never spam you or sell your email or any of that stuff. But periodically you'll get updates on what I've been writing and what's going on. So wordsmithmojo.com, and on the YouTube channel, click on the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Have a great day.